Hi, I'm Caroline Kiel from Pingers, Germany, and this is the third video of my Backup Exec performance series where I want to show you how to get the most performance out of Backup Exec. In the last video we did a backup of a virtual machine via a vCenter, and the transport mode was LAN, as I show you here in the job log. You see the transport mode NBD was used for the read operation of the disks. Well, as I mentioned in this second video, I would like to show you now how to change the transport mode to SAN to increase the performance. So we have a look at the job configuration in the first place. If we click on the backup job and say edit, and now go to virtual machines and scroll down to the end, you see transport mode priority lists. You see SAN is the first priority and then NBD. With the buttons on the right side, you can move up and down the single items to sort them in the way you would like to have them. Now, in order to be able to backup over the SAN, we need the server to be able to see the disks. And as you can see here, right now we only see the local disks from that server. So in the first place, we do now go to disk part in order to assure that new mounted disks or new attached disks will not be automatically mounted by the operating system. This is a critical configuration you should always do in order to assure that the data will be not tampered by Windows. So we go to disk part and say auto mount disable, and a second command called auto mount scrub, which will lead to the desired situation that new volumes will not be automatically mounted. Okay, we can now exit here and go to the configuration of the storage itself, which you see here. We have got 4 different volumes where the virtual machines are located on. This is an HPE MSA 2040 and it's connected via SAS. So we go to map and say action and map. Mark our backup service group in that point and the 4 volumes that we want to map. Click on map, and what you see now is that the 4 loons will be created and all of them are in read-write mode. In the MSA configuration, you can also switch to read-only for that host if you only want to backup and not to restore over SAN. But in that case, we just leave it as read and write. So we save the configuration. This will now take a few seconds, and afterwards the server will be able to connect to the loons and display the data. So mapping volume B1 and B2. Okay, this is done. We just click on OK and close that that window. Going back to the disk management of the Windows Server, we say rescan disk here, and this might take a moment for the drives to appear. In case that this will not work in the first place for you on your server, depending on the infrastructure, it might take a few seconds. You can also go to refresh the view, and you can also do a second rescan of the drives. Sometimes, depending on the technology behind the storage connection, this needs a few seconds. So if we scroll now down here, you see the volumes are now attached. You see they are offline the way we wanted them. So everything looks good now. The next thing we have to do now is restart the Backup Exec services to assure that they will discover the new hardware and the storage connection. So this is what we do now. We just restart the services in Backup Exec. So the services restart is done, and now we click on the job and say run now. As I mentioned in the second video of that series, the job start itself might take a few seconds because we have to connect to the firmware infrastructure to instruct it to create a snapshot for us. And then we get the information where the snapshot is located, so we can mount it and transfer the data. And also, like in the second video, I will play a little with the speed of that video to shorten the overall backup time to make it not too boring for you to watch this. So in the last video, we saw that the data was transferred over the network, and in order to prove you that the data is now going a different way, we look in the task manager again and performance Ethernet UC. Even though the job is running right now, we get a performance or a network load on the receive side, something like 8 kilobit per second or 40 kilobit per second, but nothing to be compared with the 2 point something gigabyte per second we got in the last video. Well, let's speed the rest of that job a little so it's not taking too long. But as you can see already, the performance is completely different than doing the backup over LAN. So we got nearly twice the data throughput without changing anything in the job at all. It's just connecting to the SAN infrastructure and move that path to connect to the data instead of doing it over a network. So the job is done. You see it was 15.6 over LAN, and now we are 29.2. So let's have a look in the job log to verify that Backup Exec used the SAN transport mode. So if we go down to the transport mode information, you see transport mode SAN was used. Well, this closes my third video of the performance series for Backup Exec. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would like to welcome you on the next one, where we will do some little more tuning and performance tweaking in Backup Exec. Thanks and have a nice day.